PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds is an early access game on the Xbox platform, and as such, the particulars of this review are likely to change before the final release. However, as the game is on sale just as finished products are on the Microsoft Store, it is more than fair for us to render a numbered verdict pertaining to the product. Upon the release of 1.0 on console, we will revisit the game, but until then, on with the review. One of the largest games in the industry at the moment, with sales of 24 million on PC and 1 million on console, PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, or PUBG as it is more commonly referred to, is a multiplayer experience which has taken the industry by storm over the course of the past 7 months on PC. With it having launched on Xbox this past week, it's set to expand to an entirely different breed of player. What makes Battlegrounds stand out in an incredibly crowded field of games? Well, that's its unique approach to player versus player combat, as well as the sheer scale of the game. There are 3 different modes in which 100 players quite literally descend upon an island with nothing but a parachute and the clothes on their backs. The first mode is devoid of teams. The second allows for grouping with one other player, and the third allows for a group of 4 to crew up. Matchmaking for the latter group is resoundingly difficult should you have a group of 3 looking to play together, almost always resulting in a failed matchmaking request. Out of the 3 modes, Duos appears to be the real standout as it best displays the wealth of tactical options available to communicating players without ever feeling unfair or crowded. Whereas 4s often results in teams of 4 mopping up stragglers with ease, Duos allows for the odds to be tipped in more cohesive team favor, without feeling unfair if you're the last in your squad alive. Going it alone is also a joy for a multitude of reasons. The inherent tension of 1 versus 99 other players is present from the moment you spawn into the plane, prior to parachuting out, and very few things feel as satisfying as claiming victory in a solo match. The core gameplay of PUBG is addictive and a joy to engage with, leading to countless hours of tense gunfights, tactical arguments, and stories your squad will tell for years to come. Having said that, acknowledging it's an early access game, it's a total mess on console, especially if you own a launch Xbox One or even an S model. My 20 hours of the game on console were played in part with a revolving cast of friends all using the launch console to play. While I had a fairly steady 25 to 30 frame rates for the majority of my playtime, they suffered massive drops and stutters consistently. On top of this, the controller is simply dreadful as each button has 3 or 4 separate functions mapped to it, and the player is unable to remap any of them. Hold X to reload, tap left trigger to scope, hold right bumper to free look, but don't tilt the stick too much or you'll careen off to the side. Hit A to mantle, but also to jump. Most of these decisions feel archaic and overly convoluted, an issue which could easily be solved if only players had the option to change some of the controls. Servers also present gameplay issues, as even on the Xbox One X I found myself rubber banding around to a degree where the game became unplayable at times. For example, in one game of Duos I landed above shelter with my partner. We descended on the building, chasing a lone player into the depths. Now what should have been a tense race to weaponry instead became a comical dance of fists and shouting as my squadmate and I bounced around the room along with our enemy thanks to server latency issues. On top of this, the servers seem to often disconnect players without reason, many times resulting in vacant avatars of friendly group members needing to be protected from enemy squads. Cars also seem to exacerbate the issue of disconnecting and crashes, as almost any time we had 4 people in a vehicle, one would crash out on the application. Now speaking of crashes, I only experienced one in my time with the game, but that appears to be due to the fact that I own an Xbox One X over any other factors. The aforementioned squad mates on launch consoles were apt to crash every second game, almost without fail. Add onto these issues bad geometry, which can swallow you whole if you look at it the wrong way, and you have a game with some severe issues, but a lot of promise. Between the server lag, texture failings, and instability issues of any console underneath the Xbox One X, Battlegrounds is a mess that I shouldn't be able to recommend to anyone, and yet, I think it's worth all the garbage to get to the core of the game. The actual experience of playing is so resoundingly enjoyable that I find it hard to care about the other issues as much as I would with almost any other game. Now, I'm not going to ignore them and give this game a high score because I realize these issues exist and can totally ruin the experience for players. What I want to say to you, the viewer, is that this is a game which will continue to grow and expand over time if the PC version is anything to go by. Without the rampant aimbots of PC, the Xbox version could become my primary place to play in the future. But until then, PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds is a technical mess with incredible promise and verve. It's more than worth your time as a player if the technical issues can be overlooked. As such, the game lands itself a solid 6 out of 10 in its current state. The game is messy and obnoxious, and yet it's somehow one of the best experiences I've played in 2017. Whether that's because of the game itself or the incredible experiences it provides, PUBG will be around for a very, very long time.